make sense to you? Because that don't make no sense to me. Because even if you don't agree with what's in those papers, you can keep up to date with what they're saying so that you can either know what's happening or present information accordingly. That don't even make sense. Huh? You following somebody who said they ain't following what's going on in the country? Make that make sense. But hold on. Let's explain this $64,000 that Lincoln says he knows nothing about. Now remember now, it was agreed that Lincoln was going to hold the $40,000 for 3 years, and it was going to mature to $53,240. The written principle stated, or the written agreement stated that the principal amount was $40,000, and the interest per year for 3 years was 10%. 10% of $40,000 is $4,000 per year. Over 3 years, that's $12,000. The document itself referenced approximately $53,240, which appears to include slightly different rounding or inclusion of accrued interest language. But the key point is this: the number represented what could have been done or what could have been due at maturity in 2013. Okay? In 2013. All right. Let's find out why the court awarded them $64,000 instead. The case was not decided in 2013. The writ was issued in April of 2015, about 5 years after the agreement was signed. So instead of 3 years, the court is calculating based on 5 years. The judge awarded $64,000 on the recovery of $40,000 with interest calculated at 10% up to the 23rd of April 2010. That's in the order. Okay? Because the bond say he ain't know how to sketch here. So let's give you some guidance. Okay? Now, the wording contains what the Privy Council itself noted appears to be a typographical issue, because interest clearly would have run from April 23rd, 2010, not up to that date. Not up to April 3rd, 2010, but from April 3rd, 2010. Okay? The Privy Council clarifies this in the document. Okay? It says, the $24,000 awarded as interest must be understood to relate to the period between April 23rd, 2010 and the date of the issue of the writ, which was on April, I think, 23rd, was April 2015. Okay, so let's do the math. The principal was $40,000. 10% per year of $40,000 is $4,000. From April 2010 to April 2015 is 5 years. 40,000 times 5 years is 20,000. But the courts awarded $24,000 in interest. Why? Because the court appears to have calculated interest beyond strict contractual maturity, effectively continuing the 10% rate until the lawsuit was filed. So they carried the 10% rate for not 3 years, but 5 years. The $24,000 figure suggests interest was calculated at 10% per annum for approximately 6 years, or slightly more than 5 years, depending on compounding assumptions or roundings. The Privy Council interpreted the $64,000 this way: $40,000 in principal, $24,000 interest accrued between 2010 and the issue of the writ, for a total of $64,000. Why is this figure, though, more than the $53,000 contract figure? Because the $53,000 represented what would have been due if the agreement matured and was paid in 2013. But we know it was not paid.